So I think I can see all of you looking at the pictures at the back. I was just discussing which profile pic for AI is good, right? And we can clearly see the impact of AI on content creation. It's not always good. Okay. Where is my photo? Yeah. Okay, so with that on the note, I mean, it hits exactly of why we are here as a panel to discuss on the topic of AI and its impact on content. All of us, not just as marketers, but even as consumers, have seen the rise of content creation enabled by AI. Right? All of us sitting here in the audience, we have at least tried once to create a content, right, using one of the AI apps. And that is the power of AI. But how does it pan out for future? What does it mean for us as consumers? What does it mean for us marketers and media experts? And with me, we have gathered this wonderful panel, starting with Sameer Yadav, representing Mondelez. Welcome, Sameer.
Thank you. Thanks, Amit.
We have Pedro, expertise in digital, more than over 2 decades. Welcome, Pedro, on the panel. And we have Vinh, representing the youth of Vietnam from RMIT University. Right? A huge round of applause for the panel. Great. So let's kickstart the discussion. Sameer, I will come first to you. You know, you are one of the leading marketers in Vietnam. You have been, as your company, imbibing the local nuance in the best possible way that you have done with Kindle. So I want to ask you that with the advent of AI, how do you see marketing evolving, especially in the space of content, and what makes you worry, or what makes you happy for your brand when AI is being used to create content?
Thanks, Amit, for that question. So firstly, if that is the output of AI, we should embrace it. It makes me look some 20 years younger. As AK, who was presenting, might call it bias or hallucination. I think it's a hallucination. But coming back to your question, I think firstly, as far as content is concerned, usually we try to relate AI to more content, creating more content. But the way we see it, it is not about creating more content, it's about creating the right content. Now that's very, very important. And I think some of the participants also spoke about it. And I would say that there are 3 stages when it comes to content. The first is the insight, or the big idea. The second is the actual creation of the content. And third is the dissemination of the content. Now the starting point is the insight. What is the big idea? Finally, we are in the business of telling stories or sharing our brand promise. If that idea is not clear, honestly, it could be garbage in and garbage out as well as content is concerned. So that's very important for us. When it comes to creating content, we need again to be clear, and I think some participants before me spoke about what is your objective. Be clear. Are you sharing the promise? Are you telling a story? Or are you selling the product? If you're selling the product, then the content could be very, very different. But if you're sharing the promise, if you're telling something which is more engaging, and you want your brand to be distinctive, it will have to be very different. And finally, I think where the biggest thing lies in dissemination of the content. How can we use AI to actually reach the right set of consumers with the right message? I think is very critical, and we sometimes call it as personalization, and we sometimes call it as empathy. I would lastly say there are tons and tons and tons of creators today. Everybody is a creator. But think about that Instagram reel or that TikTok video that you shared with your friend, and if you think about it, why did you share it? You will figure out that either the insight was great, or the way the story was being told was great. There are not more than, I would say, a limited number of videos which will have more than 10 million views, music videos, in Vietnam. So finally, I would again say, we as an organization are focusing a lot on the right insight and then tracking the big idea. Once we have that, then rest everything becomes pretty easy.
Great. Thank you, Sameer. And I think the key point that I'm picking up for you is that human intervention is still valuable, and that's the ideation and that's the insight part, and then the AI takes it, right? So thank you for that. Pedro, let me come to you. You know, I'm picking up from what Samir just said, and he did mention about the point on disseminating the content that's created, right? Reaching the right audience and how do you target it. And from a digital expert lens, digital marketing expert, how do you see AI enabling this for brands? And what could be the challenges that you see or something that we can look forward to?
Good. Thank you. So the way I see it is, and we've seen today a lot of ways in which AI is being used to create content, to create the actual assets. And that's a great capability of AI. Very easily you can produce a lot of content. So that's, let's say, something that we've seen today. I don't want to touch on that because, coming from, let's say, a media agency lens, although back in my career I was also creative agency, we want to talk more about the efficiency and effectiveness of the media deployment. So how do we use AI towards that objective, right? So we have another challenge, which is the over-reliance on the optimization algorithms. So a lot of the media agency usage of AI will be on deploying platforms that enable some sort of machine learning optimization that will help achieve the objectives. But in that journey, the platform may, let's say, prioritize certain creatives or certain content that is working, let's say, for the platform, but not necessarily working for the brand. So how do we take back control of that instead of just giving all of the control, let's say, to whatever the algorithm is trying to achieve? So that's a big challenge. And in the tool set that media agencies are starting to develop, there is now a new field, which is AI for creative analysis. So by using AI to analyze the creatives that have run historically, we can learn how to make the creatives better, improve their effectiveness, and then not rely on whatever is happening after they are deployed. So I think that that's a huge use of AI that maybe hasn't been spoken a lot, but by using, let's say, computer vision, AI vision, you can analyze and dissect the elements on a creative and know which elements are producing a better result for the brand, like not for, let's say, the platform performance metrics. So that I think that's one use of creative of AI that is going to be growing. And the other aspect that I think is also a big challenge is in the world of search. So search engine marketing, you've seen, is a big, very big disrupted by AI. It used to be a search engine, and in the last few months you will see that how they are becoming an answer engine, right? You go in and you get the answer. You don't need to worry where that is coming from. You just get the answer. So we've seen how it has disrupted Google and Bing. All of the search engines are kind of struggling on how to position these new AI capabilities. We see that the search engine results now are, it begins with an AI summary, which it used to be called AI overview. Now Google is calling search generative search experience or something like that. So that is already taking a lot of space in the search engine results page, and the actual organic results are like way down the fold, so nobody even sees them. Now there is a new metric that Google is already tracking, which is called the zero click search, because I think there is like 20 to 25% of search results already end up in zero click, because people don't even need to click into anything to know what they wanted to know. They just look at the page and see the overview, answer their question, and move on. So this is a huge new problem on how to adjust the content of websites, for organic traffic, which is being disrupted by AI from the search engine page. So, a couple of challenges that we need to address for the future. They're not solved yet. So, just wanted to highlight that. Yeah.
Great, Pedro. I think I picked up a few things that I love when you say that keep the control. So don't give it all away to the AI.
Yes.
And the creative analysis part that you mentioned. And of course, the interesting point that I did not know about is Google search and the way they are giving you answers now, and the organic search comes way below it. So, coming to you, and thank you, Pedro, for that session. I'm actually building back to what Samir said, where he said there's still a need of human interface, right? And the question for you is that, there is still a talk about AI replacing creativity, human creativity, right? How do you see that happening? What is the conversation that you are having with the young people? How do you see that going forward? Because you're dealing with that every day. You're preparing the generation today of how they would want to leverage AI in the future.
First of all, I would want to emphasize, what is AI is really kind of, evolving question and evolving answer. Right? Just remember, I believe, all of us here, remember the day around November 2022, right? When OpenAI released ChatGPT for the first time in public. Everyone say, wow, hundreds of millions of people. Now, how much time has passed since then? Around less than 2 years, right? No one remembers this ChatGPT. It's become so stupid, right? At this time, they released ChatGPT 3.5, and everyone say, wow, it's so great, it will destroy the human, it will do everything. Now, no one cares about that, it's become kind of toy program. So, let's think of in next 1 year or next 2 years, right? We might have a completely different AI. However, at the moment, I would say AI has, at least in my personal experience, in the industrial experience, and also in the thinking experience, AI has played quite an important role. A lot of tasks, a lot of tedious, boring, to be honest, repetitive, simple tasks. Before, usually I deliver to more junior colleagues. Now I deliver to the AI. So,
the junior colleague is getting replaced for sure.
Yeah. So, as a result, we need less human effort to look at tedious tasks. So usually, for instance, recently I have a project. I have a small project. The deadline is around 1 week, and I spent around 6 days and a half to think about the project, and spent last few hours to talk with ChatGPT. And along with the ChatGPT, I delivered the project. And let's say 2 years ago, I would say most of the time I spent will be for programming, debugging, if you're a programmer, you understand me, Google, stack, all this kind of stuff. Today, just think about that in 6 hours, what kind of idea, and after that, spend in 1 afternoon in ChatGPT to deliver the project. So I would say it will happen to focus more on thinking of what we do, rather than how can we do that. Currently, I think AI can help us to do some kind of small, very well-defined problem. However, I think it will come to practice very soon that the level of abstraction of AI will increase. It will help us to even we have a small project with a very vast definition. There's no actual requirement or something. We just have an idea. And hopefully in around next year, we can deliver this kind of AI. So more or less, I believe along with the time, the level of abstraction of AI will be increased. So we hope that we can stay on the top of that to increase our level of abstraction more. We do not really need to think of how we actually do this kind of small task, but focusing on what really at the end of the day we need to deliver to our customer. Like that.
Great, great, Vinh. I love the part where you said that you spent 6.5 days thinking and just a few hours to get the job done. And that comes back to the point, something that you were saying about, we still need human intervention for thinking inside, right? But there's a hidden message in what you just said, because you are then allowed to spend a far longer time in imagining and thinking and strategizing, because the operational part of it, or bringing it alive, happens much faster, thanks to the AI, right? And that's the real value that you can derive from it.
So we want to also have you, have your time and hear from you. So you're also on the media agency side of the world, and normally media agencies are using this algorithmic, machine learning part of the AI side. So how do you see media agencies, embracing the other parts of AI, so generative AI, for example, towards the content generation or the improvement of the content strategy for content partnerships, for example?
Yeah, thanks Pedro for putting me on the spot now. But I think you did mention in your sharing quite a bit on how agencies also leveraging this. And to be honest, I think a lot of this we have been leveraging for brands. We worked on Mondelez from the lens of optimizing in media, strategizing better, using the outcomes of AI, right? And AI helps us take away the human efforts, reducing time, reducing inaccuracy in order to optimize better, deliver better efficiencies. Within Group M, we have something called Copilot, which helps do better optimization and deliver better efficiencies. And then coming specifically to the point on content, where as an overall company, right, when it comes to WPP, the mind of creative and media combined together through different parts or units of it, but all of them then being combined through the power of AI under something called WPP Creative Suite, where we could actually now, let's say at Waymaker, we are discussing something with Mondelez where we have this addressable way of connecting with audience. Right? And something you mentioned about how to reach the right audience with the right message, right? Now creating those customized messages or assets is where the large part of challenge that brands face. And with media coming into action and the boundaries of who is creative versus media getting blurred, now there are solutions in AI available where it is not just able to target certain audiences, but even create multiple messages customized on a particular audience segment, their insights, their passion points, using a base rate. And all of that driven through a AI-enabled tool, sitting at, let's say, a media agency who's delivering your message, right? So, Group M WPP brings these solutions to our clients. Awesome. Great. So, with that, I would now come to each one of you with the same question, and I really want to hear and understand from you, Samir, first, is that, hearing what Pedro and Ben also shared, and echoing some of the points that you mentioned about still the need of human intervention, of insights and ideation, and the time that now you can spend more on doing that. With these things happening today, what do you think of future? What lies in future as a marketer, as a brand owner? What is it that we need to prepare ourselves with? And what is it that we as practitioners as well as brand owners that we need to look forward?
I don't know, honestly, what we need to prepare for. But I think the first thing is that we need to be prepared that attention is going to go down. Very few people are sitting in this room, and if you take a survey of all of them when they go out and ask what did Samir say or Pedro say, 10% of them won't be able to tell you. Because we have not been able to maybe attract the attention. So the first thing which I am worried about is that audiences are getting fragmented, attention is very difficult. But I think in the future, in my mind, how can we reduce wastage. I was talking to, I think, everyone.
Yes.
How can we reduce wastage? How can we increase productivity? For example, in the field of research, usage and attitude study, semiotic study, quant study, qual study. After 18 months, what comes out is a flop show in the first 2 weeks. How can AI help us to get some very good insights and data from the world by listening to consumers on social media? We are in the food industry. We have to just listen to what restaurants are making. So I think, yeah, in the future, what can we do to reduce wastage and be more productive? I think is something which we can look at. But how is it going to churn out? I don't know. I really don't know.
Great. I think that still gives us a peg of what to look for, right? And I think while everybody talks about AI bringing efficiency, you have directly called it out, reduce wastage. So the fact that there is somebody who's already calling it out, saying that there is fat available and what is it that we can do using AI to take that away, right? Thanks everyone for a wonderful thought. Pedro.
So I think that I would say towards the future to embrace. It's not gonna go away. There's nothing we can do. It's not gonna go away. Of course, we've seen through the whole day and even the previous panel that I was that there's gonna be a collaboration between humans and AI. Famous quote that your job will not be taken by AI, but it will be taken by a human using AI, right? And this from a Swiss professor that I don't remember his name. But so I would say we need to embrace it. We need to get upskilled, and it's I don't think it's hard to start doing that. There's a lot of resources. MMA has a lot of resources. App that you can start trying to access. But there's also other resources. If you go, for example, NVIDIA has a lot of courses that you can do. There's a lot of courses from Coursera as well. There's a lot of resources that you can just start, trying to, get yourself, upskilled into it and start using the technologies. I think that's something that is part of the things that we should be doing every day from here on.
Brilliant, brilliant. I still love the part when you said control in your last sharing, and now you said about collaboration, right? So there's already a movement happening, of how we can collaborate further for future with AI, right? When coming to you, you're really the person who can prepare all of us for future, especially the young generation, because you are representing the most popular university here.
Yes, I think some people already talked about that AI will take over job, right? We do not need. I mean, even in my own experience, in my own example, we see that. I mean, we do not really need kind of a person. And someone already stated that, hey, I mean, in the near future, probably there's no job for juniors. But I mean, if there's no job, right, how can a junior become a senior? However, if we look to the problem from a different perspective, now a junior with the AI, with the support of AI tool, can do something that only a senior do in few years ago, I would say so. Right? For instance, even me, now I can do a lot of jobs that before I really need to find someone to do that for me. Now I can actually do that. For instance, developing some kind of things like that initially, or developing some kind of small website. I have seen a lot of startup company who does, and the founder are really back-end technology person. They do not have any graphic designer experience. They do not have UI experience. They use AI to build a very simple website, fast, simple, in 1 or 2 days, up and running. At the end of the day, that's all we need, right? I mean, we do not really need that very fancy website. Before they really need to recruit someone, now they can do that by themselves, right? So on the other hand, if we have the tool, we also can level up ourselves. That's the main point. So at the end of the day, I would say what I usually give to my students is that Of course, I'm not quite old, but I already observed when the internet come to Vietnam, when the computer come to Vietnam, when the internet came to Vietnam, when the Google came to Vietnam, everyone said that, wow, it will destroy all of us, right? But at the end of the day, all these cartoons will separate the world. A bit of someone gain from that, and someone wouldn't gain from that. Basically, we lose from that, sad to say. Even for now, someone couldn't use internet really. So yeah, I would say he's really trying to upskill, try to catch up with the wave, and be the winning side of the change. The change is here, we cannot deny that. So that's the winning side.
Great. Thank you so much, Vinh, for that good thought at the end. And I think that brings us to the closure of this panel. And of course, we don't want to stand between the drinks. Rohit is messaging me from there, drinks are ready. So with that, I definitely want to thank Samir. Thanks so much for your sharing. Thanks, Pedro. Thanks, Vinh. Thank you, audience.
Thank you so much. So that section is very useful for us. We are sharing, and we also